Welcome back to Discover Top 5, the channel where we explore the most intriguing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening topics from around the world. If you're someone who loves diving into the lesser-known details of every subject, you've come to the right place. Whether it's the most fascinating places, the most shocking facts, or the hidden gems of history, we've got it all right here for you. At Discover Top 5, we break down complex subjects into bite-sized, easy-to-digest lists, delivering the information you didn't even know you needed to know. We strive to bring you a deeper understanding of the world's most captivating phenomena, while offering a bit of entertainment along the way. From rankings of the best and worst, to untold stories and unusual facts, Discover Top 5 ensures that you'll leave every video with something new to think about. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we upload exciting content regularly. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's topic. Are you ready to discover the top 5? Let's get started.
Let's start with North Macedonia, a country nestled in the heart of the Balkans that's been grappling with corruption for years. According to Transparency International's 2023 Corruption Perceptions Index, North Macedonia scored 42 out of 100, landing it in 76th place out of 180 countries. Now, while this isn't the worst score out there, it's still far from being clean. But what's contributing to this? The root of the problem lies in the political instability that has plagued the country for decades. Political insecurity in North Macedonia isn't just a passing issue, it's an ongoing crisis that has the potential to escalate into violence. When a country is dealing with instability like this, corruption is often one of the first things to flourish. It's like an unchecked weed in a garden. If you don't address the core problem, it spreads uncontrollably. Add to that a complicated regulatory environment, where rules are constantly changing, and sometimes even the people enforcing the rules don't fully understand them. This makes it an ideal environment for corrupt practices, as businesses and individuals find ways to manipulate the system for personal gain. Think of it like a game where the rules shift every 5 minutes. It's frustrating, and it opens doors for exploitation. There's also political interference in inspections, which only adds to the complexity of the issue. However, it's not all doom and gloom. There are efforts to combat corruption, and North Macedonia has partnered with various anti-corruption entities. While change takes time, this initiative works to bring accountability to the system. But as anyone in the fight against corruption knows, it's an ongoing battle. Next, we have Moldova, a country tucked between Romania and Ukraine that has had its fair share of corruption issues. As of 2023, Moldova scored a 42 out of 100 on the Corruption Perceptions Index, ranking 76th out of 180 countries. So why is corruption so rampant in Moldova? Well, the issue stems from a weak rule of law, lack of transparency, and a political system that's been historically unstable. One of the most infamous corruption scandals in Moldova's history was the $1 billion bank fraud in 2015, which left the country reeling. Imagine losing $1 billion in a country with one of the lowest GDP per capita in Europe. That's exactly what happened here. People flooded the streets to protest the scandal, and the outrage was palpable. This incident exposed deep-rooted problems within Moldova's political and financial systems. Despite efforts to improve the situation, including the establishment of an anti-corruption court in March 2023, Moldova still faces serious challenges. The anti-corruption court is seen as a crucial step in Moldova's aspiration to join the European Union, but it's just one step in a long road to reform.
Moving on to Kosovo, a country that declared independence from Serbia in 2008 and has been working hard to establish itself. However, corruption has remained a thorn in Kosovo's side. Like Moldova, Kosovo has faced issues with weak institutions and a lack of transparency, which makes it a fertile ground for corrupt activities. Kosovo's judiciary system has been particularly vulnerable, with reports indicating that judges are often influenced by political pressures. This creates a significant barrier in the fight against corruption because if those who are supposed to uphold the law are themselves compromised, holding corrupt officials accountable becomes nearly impossible. The European Union has been actively working with Kosovo to tackle corruption through various initiatives, but many Kosovars remain skeptical of these efforts. It's like trying to plug a leak in a bucket with a small piece of tape. Progress is slow, and the issue persists. One positive sign is the growing role of civil society organizations in Kosovo, which are pushing for greater transparency and accountability. These watchdog groups are often the ones raising awareness about corruption and advocating for change despite facing significant pushback from those in power. Albania, a country in the Balkans, is often highlighted as one of the most corrupt nations in Europe. Albania scored 37 out of 100 in Transparency International's 2023 Corruption Perceptions Index, placing it among the lower ranks in Europe. One major problem in Albania is the normalization of corruption. It's almost become part of the culture, especially in interactions with public officials. For example, research shows that for every 3 citizens who pay a bribe, 1 refuses. This indicates that corruption is almost normalized, with many people viewing it as a necessary part of daily life when dealing with government services. However, Albania has made strides in tackling high-level corruption. The establishment of the Special Anti-Corruption Structure SPAC has been an important step. SPAK has successfully seized over $100 million in assets between 2020 and 2023. While these efforts are commendable, the political corruption that includes illegal party financing and vote buying remains a major challenge. On a lighter note, satirical TV shows like Fix Fair have become unlikely heroes in the fight against corruption. Using hidden cameras and humor, these shows expose the everyday corrupt practices of both low-ranking and high-ranking officials, all while keeping the issue alive in public consciousness. Next, let's discuss Belarus, a country where corruption thrives under a tightly controlled government. In Belarus, the intertwining of political power and economic interests often leads to public resources being misused for personal gain. One of the most corrupt areas is the judiciary system, with judges and prosecutors being some of the most corrupt officials in the country.
Moreover, Belarus's centralized control of the economy exacerbates corruption, particularly in sectors like energy and construction, where large contracts are often awarded without proper oversight. This creates a culture of impunity where public officials can act with little fear of being held accountable. The situation is made worse by the tight control over civil society and the media, which limits the ability of watchdog organizations and journalists to report on corrupt activities. As a result, anti-corruption initiatives in Belarus face constant resistance, and corruption becomes deeply entrenched. Despite these challenges, civil society groups and independent media outlets are still fighting to bring transparency to the forefront. Even though they often face harsh repercussions from the government, their efforts are critical in keeping the issue of corruption alive and pushing for change. Serbia, with a score of 36 out of 100 on the 2023 Corruption Perceptions Index, finds itself near the bottom of the corruption ladder in Europe. Judicial corruption is a significant issue, with bribes and irregular payments being common. If you want a favorable decision in Serbia, it's often not about what's right, it's about what you can pay for. In addition to judicial corruption, public procurement and administration are plagued by conflicts of interest, especially in sectors like health and education, which are notorious for being vulnerable to corruption. The country is also known for its cash-based bribery system, with 45.2% of bribes being paid in cold, hard cash. This is a common practice across various sectors, from law enforcement to government officials. In Ukraine, corruption is a long-standing problem, with oligarchs wielding significant influence over both the economy and politics. This makes it incredibly difficult for the average citizen to get a fair chance at success. The judiciary system is also deeply affected by corruption, with bribery and political interference often influencing judicial decisions. One of the main problems with Ukraine's fight against corruption is the lack of transparency in both government and business dealings. Even with recent reforms, like the creation of anti-corruption bodies, progress has been slow, and citizens are still skeptical about the government's ability to bring meaningful change. Bosnia and Herzegovina is another European country where corruption has seeped into almost every aspect of society. With a score of just 35 out of 100 on the Corruption Perceptions Index, Bosnia is one of the most corrupt countries in Europe. The lack of judicial independence in the country has allowed corrupt practices to thrive, especially within the government. The country faces other significant challenges, like human rights violations, including reports of torture and cruel treatment of detainees. Corruption here goes beyond just financial mismanagement. It touches every corner of society, creating an environment where accountability is hard to come by. Turkey has had its fair share of corruption scandals in recent years, with a drop in its corruption score to 34 out of 100 in 2023. The public procurement and construction sectors are notorious for their corruption, with bribery and irregular payments being common. Despite the presence of anti-corruption laws, enforcement remains inconsistent and authorities are often ineffective. Moreover, media freedom in Turkey has dramatically declined, with journalists facing imprisonment and harassment for exposing corruption. The judiciary system is also under heavy political influence, making it difficult to hold corrupt officials accountable. At the top of the list is Russia, where corruption is deeply embedded in the government and society. Government contracts are often awarded based on connections and bribes rather than merit, creating an environment where only the most connected can succeed. The judiciary system is similarly corrupt, with bribery being a common practice among law enforcement and judges. Additionally, construction and land distribution in Russia are riddled with corrupt practices, leading to unsafe and poorly built infrastructure. Despite these challenges, anti-corruption efforts in Russia have been largely ineffective, as the government maintains tight control over media and civil society, making it difficult to report on and address corruption.
And there you have it. We've explored another fascinating topic today, diving deep into the top 5. We hope you enjoyed the video and walked away with some new insights, fun facts, or maybe even a few surprises along the way. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Let's spread the knowledge together. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Discover Top 5 for more exciting content like this. You won't want to miss our next video, so hit that notification bell and stay tuned for the latest updates. Got a topic you're curious about or want to see us cover next? Drop it in the comments below. We love hearing from you and might just feature your idea in an upcoming video. Thanks for being part of the Discover Top 5 community, where we uncover the top things you didn't know you needed to know. Until next time, keep discovering, keep exploring, and keep learning. See you in the next video.